Welcome everyone, Simon here from the Whales of Wall Street. Good to see you here on this video today. Hedera Hashgraph is on our radar today. Before we go into the chart, we're just going to cover off this very interesting topic. Now, as many of you know, with Hedera, we're going to actually go to the bottom of this article to re-emphasize this point. Hedera is a formulation as well of various regulatory bodies from a influx of mega corporations out there. To name a few just here, Google, IBM, Boeing. Honestly, the list is huge. But what's really interesting is the addition today that has been announced literally earlier this morning. UK asset management firm ABDRN? I think it's just pretty much standing for Aberdeen, surely. Has joined the Hedera Governing Council. So it's joining these big companies down here. The Edinburgh, Scotland-based company becomes the 27th member of the council. It's a huge membership council, guys, by the way. As I said, all these different projects, companies, organizations. You have to ask yourself, why? Why has this got such a big council? Well, Hedera, guys, is first and foremost one of the big ISO 200-2022 compliance aspects of crypto, blockchain, DLT, is formulation of its DAG technological system. This is direct acyclic graph technology, utilization of essentially, I kind of like to describe it as where blockchain is like one after the other in terms of the blocks and the chains. Hedera, as well as DAG in general, has this kind of like capability to influx itself into various different avenues, channels and paths, avoid certain things that perhaps aren't working and go direct to source. We're talking about like transactions here, i.e. an actual action. This is quite phenomenal when you start piecing together all the automation, the AI, the algorithms, the supply and demand data, all of this stuff happening simultaneously within seconds, and every transaction going through these kind of chains and technologies. This is absolutely phenomenal. Now here, the move to tokenizing investment funds has been gaining momentum recently, with the US investment giant KKR making its healthcare strategic growth fund available on the Avalanche blockchain. Now, you're going to see a lot of healthcare projects worldwide, outside of crypto, both in traditional worlds and Web3 worlds. These are going to come onto blockchain. We're talking about documentation here, historic information of people's health, but also the aspect of development of future health outcomes, solutions. What I mean by this is, and going back to that DAG system philosophy, is eventually we will have the chips inside us, whether we like it or not. They're coming. And this will utilize in your body to tell you might be ill in a couple of weeks' time. So an ambulance is automatically ordered. You have your surgery automatically. It knows what medication you can and cannot have or what you need based on everything your body is telling this system. Okay, so a lot of these healthcare systems will come into here. That's the automation side. Of course, from like the actual documentation, the history of patients will be put onto blockchain as well. Verification, processing, reduction of fraud potentially, but also potentially and hopefully faster, better, more efficient healthcare. We will have to see about that. As healthcare becomes more privatized, I don't know if you are similar to me. I know what's going on. I've known on since 2020. They're trying to privatize the NHS. They're privatizing healthcare across the world because they're bringing in a blockchain. 100%. So in August, ABDRN, we'll just call it that for now, became the largest external shareholder of regulated UK digital securities exchange, Arcax, which plans to use its vehicle for tokenized traditional assets. Guys, we had the video going out earlier today about CBDCs and things like this. This is huge. The whole tokenization aspect of finance, everything that we do, movements, transportation, healthcare, agriculture, supply, everything will be through blockchain and tokenization. This is the crazy thing. The burning mechanisms of things, the ability to mint things out of thin air essentially and utilize them as mechanics to make things cheaper, faster, more efficient, to increase the economy potentially. Could it be that all these inflation conversations, the drilling down of reserve currencies everywhere around the world, currencies in general, falling apart, economies falling apart, because they already have the solution, the Great Reset, as the World Economic Forum call it. And Hedera Hashgraph is a phenomenal project, and it's one that I've been holding for some time, and it's one that I accumulate as much as I can when I can, especially under its current pricing position. But this is big news, guys. This takes Hedera to extra levels, another accumulation towards its membership council, as we just mentioned. But I, for one, am very excited about Hedera. It's one of the top projects in my portfolio. It's one of the ones I would consider in my top 5 easily. Not necessarily about value or how much I hold, but top 5 in the most important crypto or certainly blockchain technologies that I hold. Let's have a look at the chart, guys. As I said, for me personally, anything under 10 cents is absolutely phenomenal. We're at the lowest spectrums of Hedera's price point based on historic information that we have in front of us on this chart. Now, the reason we've got like the long-term aspects of fib retracements and macro levels is to really understand where we have been with Hedera and where we're trying to get to, or where might we even go to. So when I was getting Hedera, it was way back here in one of these big dips around the March period of March 2020. Not as low as it was back here in January 2020, but certainly around these areas. It hasn't moved significantly from here to where we are today in terms of its point A to B. But in between, we have seen phenomenal growth on Hedera Hashgraph. Phenomenal. Taking it to highs of 57 cents in some cases here. That's a brilliant return on investment, but we're not over yet. Hedera will come back fighting in those areas again for sure. I consider Hedera to potentially be between $3 and $5 by 2025. This is based on the accumulation of data that I have in front of me, the fact of utilization and utility, and the way that CBDCs and all the systems are coming into play, especially with our dates of November 2025. This is why I think ahead in this way. So we're matching some significant areas right now, back here in August 2020 and around February 2020 respectively. Since then, we had the big uprise in the bull markets, but we're back down here trying to figure out if this is a good support area. I have buy areas down at these lower regions of potentially around 4.5 cents at the moment. Not any lower yet, because I'm interested to see if we come down to here. Is Bitcoin going to bring itself down to $12,000 to $15,000? We'll have to see. And I do think that will pull the market, irrespective of how strong these projects are. Most of them are still in correlation with the likes of Bitcoin and the rest of the market. We must not avoid this scenario in our heads, guys. So this is where we are with Hedera right now. And in my opinion, honest opinion, it's not financial advice, my opinion, of me buying right now manually, as I do over the last few weeks, at these areas. As I said, anything under 10 cents for me is very exciting for Hedera. We did actually go around the 14th of August to the highs of nearly 9 cents. So you can see there's a lot of movement in the short term as well as long term. I have these buy areas lower based on previous data that there is simply a huge gap here. Not enough information or data here to suggest to me that we have fully identified this current area as a support mechanism. So we have to be cautious. This is why DCAing is important, meaning that you don't chuck all your money in straight away. You do it in strategic positions. Okay, so this is where we are with Hedera right now. And as I said, there's movement to come. So we're currently balancing just on the lines of this macro fib retracement level. You can just about see it here. The lower levels being down here around 5.2 cents. Okay, so what we need to understand right now is we're trying to identify if this is a support area. It can come down if this fails. This is why I had the lower buy areas. But irrespective of this, in the upwards and downwards trends over the next few weeks or indeed the next few months, in my opinion, anything under 10 cents is a phenomenal steal on Hedera Hashgraph. We look at these RSIs on down here as well. Do we want to be buying at these positions? For me personally, the RSIs being at 14-day at 44 are quite significant. I would like it to be a bit lower when I inject capital into this kind of area on the RSIs. The 28-day showing 44 as well. This is very stable. The risk is fairly minimal. Obviously, if this was higher, maybe 50, 55, I'd be sitting there thinking there's two middle ground. and there's too much of an opportunity of it going either way. At this current level, it's quite a stable one because it's not at the bottom where people are umming and ahhing, is this the actual bottom? It's more kind of like a quarter of the way down. It's a stable position for me in my mindset. So it doesn't mean that I go and, oh, brilliant, I'm going to throw all my money in this at the moment. I'm saying that this position right now is really interesting. There is an opportunity for it to come down lower, for sure, but the stabilization is there. If it comes down, brilliant. We obtain and accumulate more at cheaper prices. But right now, I'm not angry to be accumulating and DCAing at this point in time. It's very structured, Hedera. It's one of those stronger projects out there for sure. Back here in June, where the RSIs were 26.32, I did take some really good positions here. I had to. It was a unique, beautiful price point. But we're now floating just under 6 cents, guys. And this is really interesting moves to come, I think. As we're seeing stability, we're seeing strength, but also seeing a lot more people raising awareness of the ISO compliant tokens, but also, more importantly, the technological utilization of these projects as well. So my 2 points of buying are at the low regions of 5 cents, and as I said, just above that 4.5 cent mark. We'll have to see if it comes down to these lower levels. I'd love it if it did, selfishly, but we'll have to see. The indicators on the right hand side are still in a negative format, but they are improving as time goes by. We'll have to see how this goes, but for now, this is quite a stable area and position to be in with this project. So guys, that's kind of like wrapping up really Hedera right now. Do leave the comments below on what your thoughts are on Hedera, but for now we're going to leave that there. We'll catch up with Hedera next week. Really excited about this news that's come out today. It just further emphasizes the strength and the power that's behind it. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you in the next Hedera video. Bye bye.